So, I scrolled through TikTok, and it's about this post about this woman saying bathing bad, don't bathe less often, bathe like this, don't use soap with like blah blah blah. It was weird. It was a bunch of stuff about how like people overbathe and how like bathing is like something that was perpetuated by like the upper class to make lower class people feel bad about themselves.
Smelling
So,
good
like-
is classist?
Hold on. So
Hold on. You wanna do cam or not?
So, yeah, this lady was like, don't bathe, bathing is bad. And I'm like, okay, this is dumb, like stupid, right? And so this guy comes over and is like, no, this anti-bathing attitude that you've got. And he just goes on a ramble. He's like, this is classist, racist, sexist. He goes on. The one that I was irked about being is I am a person of race. He's like, this is racist because if we teach this anti-bathing attitude worldwide, then people with darker... so hold on. So one of her specific takes, don't use soap when you bathe unless you see dirt on yourself. So unless you've been like rolling around in dirt and you're covered in dirt visibly, don't use soap when you bathe. Bad take in and of itself. And then this guy was like, that's racist because if we tell this to people who have darker skin, they will never use soap because they can't see the dirt on their own skin.
Bruh.
And I'm like,
What?
you just think all black people are stupid. Like, I can't see dirt on my skin. Like, I'm not familiar enough with my own skin to be able to look at it and be like, there is visible, like, dirt caking up on my skin.
I thought
That looks about the same as me.
this was gonna go somewhere about like being ashy or something, and
No. And
Using
then I
ivory
was like,
soap and-
and then I responded, was like, oh, so you just think black people don't know their own skin? Like, and he's like, no, I'm just saying that, like, on my skin, like, take a grain of pepper, for example. A grain of pepper which would shine, what did he say? It was, I'm gonna pull up verbatim because it was so stupid. It was,
So hold
no, of course not. It's just a comparison to show her metrics differs on skin like mine, where a single pepper like glares like the sun versus on darker skin. And then I'm just like, that's completely idiotic. Like, and then I literally just commented, what did I say? This just saying white person explains black skin to a black person, and he doesn't respond to that. And another comment was really good, was, can we also add skinny privilege to the list? As a fat person, if I don't wash with soap, I could literally start to mold. And then he goes, thanks for calling that out. I'm gonna add that to the list. Like, there's a literal list now. I don't know.
this can't see when I hear this stuff. And I mean, I'm saying this jokingly, but I'm like, oh, this is a CIA op to make the left look stupid because, like,
Guess what he looks like?
th-
Bro, hold on. Wait, no, I don't want to show it on screen. Fuck it. This guy. Look at him.
Bruh.
Q-Star?
No. Literally,
Yo,
though.
Keemstar's undercover trying to make the left look stupid. That makes a lot of sense.
Oh my
um,
god. Yeah, it was like... the whole thing being like ableist, like he said ableist, I don't know, I guess disabled people just smell bad.
Was
Is that what he's saying? Like,
He's
disabled
saying
people need to bathe
washing-
more, like...
cleaning yourself, hygiene is ableist?
Is ableist. No, not even that. It was saying that her take was that bathing a lot is a narrative perpetuated by the upper class to make
Narrative.
poor people feel bad about smelling bad. So she just thinks poor people smell bad. You got less money, you just smell bad. That's how it works.
Yeah.
I guess.
No, of course. Fuck, I hate when they you can tell like what words they heard recently that they work into every sentence, whether they work there or not. You're just like,
Yeah.
it's a classly hierarchical narrative that's perpetuated through
Literally.
exploitation. It's like, no, that's not how that's not how any of those work in a sentence.
And he also said it was classist because he said no. So she said that bathing was a thing perpetuated by the upper class to make poor people feel bad about smelling bad, and then he came back with the double down and said, no. This anti-bathing meme is actually perpetuated by the upper class because these upper class people are going to be, their careers are going to be less impacted by maybe smelling a little bit off or bathing or just being less clean, which just makes no sense whatsoever. It's
So-
just like,
His point was that the anti-bathing thing is classist, but it's because they're doing it to try and make poor people copy them so that they have harder lives because they think the rich aren't washing. But wait, also,
no,
isn't
it was
that
like a
thing?
class privilege kind of thing, saying that, oh, if I'm rich, I've already made it, so I can afford.
I don't
it's like
need to
how,
wash.
It's like how married. It's like how the meme of married. Oh, I'm married. I don't need to do my hair for my boyfriend. I've already got my boyfriend. Or
Okay.
like, I don't need to do my hair for my husband.
I don't have to go to
Like,
work. I don't have to like toil in the field, so I'm not going to come home dirty and sweaty. So you should just wash less often because it's better for
Yeah.
your skin.
And you're already rich. What are they gonna do? Take away your money if you smell bad? It was that video. It was like, and then like all of the comments just adding on to the fire, being like, oh, it's fat phobic because I'm fat, and if I don't wash, I'll get moldy, literally. Which I
I'm not laughing at that.
Bruh.
Could you? I sneezed. Could you? Did you look into the guy's account to see if like this is parody? He's a troll. This is satire. Anything? Or
No,
is he
it's-
dead serious?
he's dead ass.
Okay.
He's dead ass.
So everybody had a bunch of
Oh my
cool
god, I gotta
responses.
watch so many more of these. I gotta watch more of these. Oh god, here.
But that is actually a thing, isn't it? Like,
Okay, here we go. What is it? What is the thing?
didn't Gwyneth Paltrow? Oh no, I'm not trying to sell you on like, oh, this is capitalism. No, I'm saying like, isn't that a movement with like the
No,
coastal
yeah.
elites of like, don't wash?
Well, I mean, yeah, no, they were like, don't wash. No, they're like, everybody is overwashing. Everybody's overwashing. Like, that's what they're saying. And it's like, don't watch. It's like her video, the original video that he was commenting on was like, don't. She was like, don't wash your arms and legs. Unnecessary. Body washing dries out your skin. Just wash the action parts and leave everything else.
Isn't that a meme about like how men wash?
She's saying it unironically. She's like unironic, like, no, don't wash your arms and legs or your body or anything. Just wash the parts that literally make you want to vomit when you smell them, and then other than that, you're good. Yeah, that was most of the funny stuff. He didn't respond to my comment when I called him out for white splaining my skin to me.
But he did explain it to you, which is the best
No,
part.
no, you don't understand. Your skin is dark like dirt.
Like
So if you get dirt on your dirt skin, you'll be able to see it.
or okay, maybe dirt was the wrong choice. Like pepper. You're like a pepper
Like
skin.
pepper.
Is that okay?
Pepper, yeah. Food. Black people love being compared to food.
Yep. My skin is like white. Yours is like chocolate. That's
Chocolate or dirt.
or dirt or pepper. Pepper's good, right? Everybody likes pepper. You know, pepper.
Hey, we
people
know how
fought
you
wars
guys
over
like
pepper.
to season your food.
Oh yeah,
Seasoning, right?
mayonnaise and salt.
Literally.
I'm kidding. That's too spicy.
No, but this does not to give Whitey an inch, but I remember this one time I was walking. I just went and jumped off this bridge that people jump off for fun with this girl, and we were walking, and she goes, "Oh my God, look at how much salt you have on you! Ha ha ha! Why do you have so much salt on your skin?" And I'm like, we were just in the ocean, and salt in the ocean. Was like, look at how much you're covered in it. You're like, you've like all these white spots, and I'm like, and then I look at her fair skin, like snow white.
Yeah.
And I go, okay. And I had my black t-shirt balled up in my hand. I go, give me your arm. And I go, with the t-shirt against her skin. And I go, like that. And it was literally like just covered in salt. And she was like, oh, well, I guess you just couldn't see it on me, huh?
That was her response. That was her realization after
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I guess I just couldn't see it on myself.
Oh, that's funny. She wasn't just like, she didn't get all of racism at that second.
No.
Oh my god.
She wasn't a very profound girl. I wouldn't have expected her to get to understand it.
Dr. Mr. Luther King was right.
Dr. Mr. Luther. Bro, I'm really sad I didn't get to go to the Fortnite Martin Luther King event.
Yeah. I wonder why that isn't still up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they probably didn't do anything horrible.
But like, see, I would have. I totally would have. In defense, I would have.
Yeah, that's your right.
Yeah, that was the dream.
Exactly. That one day, am I allowed to do that voice? Probably not. That you
just can't do it well.
That
you
and
can
no,
do
I
it, but
can't.
It's gotta be poor.
You're right. That you and a white kid could both do weird dog whistles in front of the MLK speech. That was the dream.
Yeah, it's the dream.
That you guys could
Dog
both
whistle.
make.
That's one of those words.
4chan references.
I always make fun of people on TikTok when, what's the word? It's like people use it like fetishization. It's like, it was like, I forget what the thing was. So somebody said that they were talking about how there was a Van Gogh painting, and then somebody took Van Gogh's painting and made it more realistic and compared the two, and they were like, oh my god, I like the more realistic one better. And then somebody commented, oh my god, the way you people fetishize realistic art is sickening. I'm like, so you just learned the word fetishize.
That's another one of
And
those. They just heard fetishize recently and were just like, I'm shoving this into something.
I heard Hassan say fetishize. So that just means use too much of, right? Like they like it too much.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. There is a thing with like the what is the right word for it? It's not like hyperrealism, is it? Yeah, the type of art that's just like representational art.
Yeah.
That does seem to be more favored by the right for some reason, and the left got stuck with like the overly modernist, like here's a person sitting and conceptualizing blue.
Yeah, it's like big blue canvas, one line, and then like cries, just balls their eyes out looking at it.
Yeah. But I just wanted to say that, but I wanted to move over to the fetishization thing real quick, because there is one thing that you can typically count on of like, if you have somebody who's real strong evangelizer for like anti-gay or like white supremacist anti-black or something, they've done some visiting in a truck stop where you don't look at my face, you don't remember my name, or they have an illegitimate half black child or something.
Yeah,
like,
somewhere along the line.
That came up with was it somebody was talking about Sleepy Joe Brandon's dipshit speech he did earlier, where he was bringing up like Strom Thurmond or something. One of those.
Joe Brandon.
Yeah, one of those guys that was like a white supremacist, and then later found out that he had a half black child, because you can always count on them. That's the fetishization ones. Those are the ones that are just like, they'll always, whenever you accuse them of being racist, it's like the Jacob Chansley interview that Channel 5 did, Andrew, where he's like, yeah, that was my first time experiencing racism when a black lady called me racist. And I was like, I've dated plenty of your people. It's like, oh, okay. Well, if you put your dick in something that looked different, then I guess then you're good.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you know. It's like, yeah, I've like slept with like so many black, like guy I know, he was like, I was talking to him. He's like,
You got fetishized in Italy.
Yeah. I mean, see, that was rough, because I remember they were like, you're so handsome and pretty and beautiful, and I was like,
You're like smiling, like,
I'm beautiful. Okay, yeah, I'm beautiful. It's like, you're so rare. I've never seen one like you before, and I'm like,
we don't get many of you around here. Yeah, and you're like, God damn it, I felt good for a second.
yeah, well, because there were black people around, but they were black people that like had just come north over the Mediterranean. Like, they had never seen like a brown skin with like less curly hair before.
Yeah, a lighter
you know?
skinned guy, not like.
Yeah.
However
They
you
were
want to
like,
define the difference between you and Sam.
yeah, basically, like, yeah, the difference between like somebody who like didn't speak English didn't speak Italian, and just like shot straight north over the Mediterranean and then hit Italy and was like, oh, I'm just gonna chill here, versus like somebody with like, I always call my complexion like slave complexion, because you don't like, if you look at my like line, you don't gotta go back very far to see somebody working in the fields. You don't gotta, it's like my Auntie Gretchen, we call her Grandmama, but her name was Gretchen. She was 104 when she died last year. She was alive when World War One. She was alive during World War One. She was like 100
last year at 104.
She was. Oh, I know she was born in 1917. So that would have made her died. She died in 2021. That would have made her 105.
Yeah. Well.
Yes, she was 100.
3, 4. 104 or 5, whatever. Very close.
So 104. 104 is right. Yeah, I was right.
1917, 2017, that's 100, and then 3 more to 20, and then 1 more is 4. But, you know, there's always those weird things of like, well, was it January when she was born, and then December when she died?
For her,
December
it was
and January.
104. She was the great-granddaughter of a slave. It always blows my mind how close it was.
Yeah. I mean...
It was like not that far away.
Oh, let me go TikTok lib here. Did it really end?
Oh my god. Yes. You know, I always like talking to people. It's like, oh my god, like the last white people say the last slaves were freed in 17, whenever the slaves were freed. I can never remember the actual date.
The you talking about the Juneteenth thing, or like the actual?
No,
the 2 years
like,
before that.
Yeah, if you Google like, so probably like the 2 years before that. I'm ashamed of myself that I have to Google this.
Are you Googling it?
Yep. 1865. That's the year. 1865. The last. So 1865 was like when the people were like, okay, slavery, like no more of that. Stop. All the slaves are free. The last known instance of chattel slavery in the United States was in 1960.
Say more.
Some dude keeping them.
Wait, what?
There was just some dude that
Isn't that just kidnapping?
Well, no, it was just descendants of slaves. They don't tell them. They never left. They slept in secluded places. Like,
they just didn't know?
Yeah, if you just don't stop, who's gonna tell them?
All right, so yeah, shit, 100 years later, and the guy just stayed real quiet. Everybody that came by was just like, hey, what are you? And he's like, oh, right on. Somebody's delivering like somebody's delivering like milk and a TV and the first washer and dryer and stuff, and the slaves come out to carry it into the house, and they're just
Literally.
like, here you go.
Here you go. How much is he paying you? Paying me? Like, literally. That was funny. Like, they don't know. Don't say anything.
Shush.
I haven't figured it out yet.
Those are my employees.
Yeah.
Don't let them hear me call. What do you think? Really? I mean, I'm looking at the numbers, but maybe you want to guess, because most people will say the way that the tacit continuation of the slave state is the for-profit, carceral system, our prison industry.
Industry.
What do you think the numbers are? Without looking it up, how many what was the population of slaves in like 1860? What is the population of like incarcerated people now?
I should know the amount of incarcerated people.
You should.
I know
I should have been able to pull it up. I know that we house like 25% of the world's population.
It's like okay,
of people in prison.
I'd say, how many the slaves at the end? I know it was in the million.
Yes.
Okay, wait. Let me guess the difference. Let me guess the difference.
I'm not going to jump in with the answer here. Like I'm.
Okay, hold on. I'm not going to get the numbers right at all, and I don't want to embarrass myself. I'm going to guess that there is only like 300,000 less prisoners.
It seems to be a wider gap than that as of. Okay, these are the numbers as of 2016. It is definitely a wider gap. Then let me check Nope, I don't want percentage. I want hard numbers. Is this giving me 2020? American criminal justice, blah, blah, blah. The last, hard count seems to be in 2016. The difference is larger than what you're guessing.
What's the difference?
I mean, you want the numbers? Or you want, more hints? So, at the height of the slave population, 1860, total slaves, total numbers? Is that the total numbers forever? So, about 4 million was the total. And people in prison, 2016, last hard count, 2.3 million.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's a lot of license plates.
Right? We got a much larger population and half the number of slaves, so we've really improved, I think.
Oh my god.
They, everybody looked at us. Lincoln was like, "Do better," and we were like, "Okay, have fun
Just
at the
a
theater."
little bit though. Just a little bit better.
Yeah, incrementalism. That's what it's. That's how you get there.
Okay, they're not in servitude forever. Eventually, they'll be able to get out.
Sure.
Don't look at the return to prison rate though.
Yeah, no, you don't want to look up recidivism or all of the people that die and then don't get reported, or the people that are, false imprisonment and all of that stuff.
False imprisonment has got to be so tough. I couldn't even imagine. Being put in timeout back in the day for something my sister did had me wanted to shoot up my own house.
Well, see, that's the point. They catch you for nothing, and then you've got a record, and then they can put you away for violating the probation on the nothing they caught you for, and then you're just in the system.
And then you've actually done something.
Yeah, exactly. You broke the rules
Put you right in.
during the punishment for the rules you didn't break. But we're not going to bring up old stuff. We care about this thing you did. Bad. All right, so man, America's really improved. Biden's right.
For real. Did you hear what he said? Talking about MLK's death and George Floyd.
Right. He said that George Floyd's death was bigger.
And the assassination of MLK didn't have the same impact as the George Floyd.
Yeah, because it was the sloppy ass police that did it instead of the FBI.
I was like, oh my god, he did not just. Because I want to think, because I was like, okay, Joe Biden completely senile. His aides are doing everything for him, and that was just one of the things that slipped through the cracks.
The only thing unsmooth about that man's brain is the prions. He has no idea what's going on. Yeah, he's completely out of it, and they pump him full of whatever things they give to horses to win their last race.
Ivermectin.
Yeah. Yeah, but they do ivermectin and coke. They just do an Ivor speedball to really get him out there. And then he comes out and he'll read all the lines, but then sometimes he'll go off script. Or if he just loses interest in the middle, he's like, well, anyway.
I think I've got this one. George Floyd better than Martin Luther King. You're a better
George
guy.
Floyd, now,
I'd have a beer with him.
Now, are you listening? Black people, I got you. You're going to love this one. George Floyd, better than MLK. I ranked your tier list. George Floyd S, MLK A at best.
Oh my god.
For dead black tier list. Anyway, this has been Joe Byron. Let's go, Biden.
Oh my god. Dead black person tier list. That reminds me of when Donald Trump was like, I have done the most for black people since Lincoln. Ever since Lincoln. He said I'm the president who's done the most for black people ever. Maybe Lincoln is better. That was what he said. It was during the State of the Union or something.
Oh yeah.
It was late in his presidency when he said it. And then afterwards, the news station was like, "Oh, Donald Trump said that." He's like, "Oh, we'd also like to mention Lincoln freed the slaves." I think it was John Henry Adams desegregated the military, and I forget the president that desegregated the United States as a whole.
LBJ.
And they just listed those three guys. I think it was John Adams.
No, I meant desegregated the. Yeah, Lyndon B. Johnson and the Civil Rights Act gave the federal government the power to desegregate public accommodations, like the sitting at lunch counters thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but Donald Trump.
Wait, wasn't John Adams?
Yeah, John. I don't think about John Adams was way back.
Yeah,
right? He was
also
like the third or fourth.
Also, I'm an idiot. I was thinking of Johnson, who followed Lincoln, who like made Jim Crow and like killed Reconstruction, basically, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember Jim Crow was like, it's like Lincoln, Jim Crow, which is like weird. Well, I mean, actually not that weird now that I think about it, because like,
No,
you
he
give him a
killed
little leeway, but
Reconstruction.
you don't want to give him at all.
He killed Reconstruction. Jim Crow was much later. I'm just throwing things together.
Really, Jim Crow was much later? Because I always thought it was Jim Crow was what was put in place because the slaves became free. There was probably a little bit of time where they were able to like fool around a little bit, you know?
Jim Crow era timeline. I was wrong. I was right the first time. You were also correct. Yes. So right after Lincoln dies and the Reconstruction era is stopped, I'm guessing it was probably Johnson that helped to kick Jim Crow off, which was 1877 to 1964. Just a short. It was under 100 years. So like, you're welcome again.
Oh my god. That reminds me of videos. There's a trend where black people were going around just like white spaces and saying, just walking up there with like their like black minstrel voice going, "Hey, look at me. I say slavery, you say sorry. Slavery." And then every single white person goes, "Sorry." And then he goes, "Thank you." And then he leaves. And it was like, I saw like 8 videos of different black people doing that. It was so funny.
Just
And
a
then white
call-in
people started
response
to
of
get
like
upset.
low energy shame apology in chorus.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry. It was like, "Thank you." And then they just left.
He's like, all right, another 15 down. All right.
Yeah. Let me just go to the next lecture hall at this college. Because it was like college lecture halls where like doors are just open.
Just walk
People
in
just
and
walk
do that.
in and say whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
everybody's
always want
just
to do
like,
that. Just like live next to a college, see how much I can learn just by walking into just open lecture halls.
yeah, I mean, you probably could. And plus, like, I think respect for institutions has been vastly degraded. So, like, you could probably get away with a lot now.
Stop me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you can immediately use that power of just like,
Oh, what, you don't recognize me? Oh, yeah. Well, let me guess. There's like 3 black kids in here, and you think I'm one of them?
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, I'm here to. You didn't hear that there's a movement for black people to get free education as reparations. Would you like to fight me on that?
Or you could just give me some more reparations.
Yeah.
Cash,
I mean, what do you?
cash is best, but I took the free education bid.
Yeah. I mean, what do you got in your pocket, white boy? Just start robbing people.
How many leftists I could rob just through the
Through white guilt.
white guilt? Oh,
That's a good video. Just like walking down the street in some real lib town.
go to like one of those, like do that in like the George Floyd protests. Go to one of that. Go to like a pride parade. Go to something like that. Just be like, hey,
You'd have to go to
reparations, right?
You'd have to go to like
Cough it
one
up.
of the real soft protests, not like, I mean, a lot of the George Floyd protests were like, you know,
There were a lot of
people
angry
actually
people there.
taking action against like cops and stuff. So you'd have to go to one of those like weird, arbitrary ones where it's just like marching for an idea or awareness or something. Go to those and just hit everybody up.
God, I should have gone to one of the George Floyd protests. I lived pretty close to one when I was in North Carolina. I just didn't go.
Yeah.
I should have gone. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of the white people would have been like, oh, because like a lot of the white people were like, oh no, I am like white, so I can do stuff against the police and not get in trouble. I would have wanted to be on the front lines. They probably would have been like, no, shield yourself. They'll take you away. It's like, yeah, that's the point. That sounds like fun. I get to go to ride in a cop car. Like, like
Yeah, exactly. I want to see
bro,
what happens.
remember when they were like just abducting people, just putting them in the back of squad cars, threatening to shoot anybody that came near, and then just driving away?
Yep.
If a cop did that, the back of that squad car would have needed to have a hazmat crew to come in. There would have been so much shit and piss all over that thing. I would have destroyed that car.
See, that's praxis. You're doing direct action right there. That's
Yeah, but you know that some like minimum wage like son of a cop would have had to come in and do it.
yeah. Some beaten wife of a cop
Yeah, like,
would have.
oh honey, you like to clean, right? It's like, okay,
Love
then. It's
cleaning,
like,
right?
Hey, we need a squad car that needs just a little hose down, nothing big.
Yeah, and he'd be just all hot dog crunched up, red, mad, screaming about his stinky car and his bitch wife taking forever to get there. And yeah, so yeah, that's the problem. Anything bad that happens in our society flows downhill, and anything good
Yeah,
flows
chain of
up.
command.
Yeah, exactly.
Chain of command used to piss me off when I was in Boy Scouts. I used to be in Boy Scouts. I was always at the bottom
Look,
of the chain,
I just
even
wasn't.
though I was like,
I got a little neck snap from the roller coaster move to this direction, but I'm on. Let's go.
no, I heard the words chain of command for the first time in years, and I just remember being like, oh, well, chain of command. Hey, Jake's at the bottom, isn't he? And I was always like, I was
Why
a
were
really
you at the
small
bottom?
kid. I was in Arizona.
Yeah, all right.
They didn't do Martin Luther King Day when I was in Arizona. They didn't do it.
Dude, I live in New Hampshire. We changed it to Civil Rights Day, which was basically saying all lives matter to Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
I asked a teacher. She was like, "Oh, we don't observe Martin Luther King Day," and I was like, "Oh, well, can you still teach us about it?" She's like, "The curriculum doesn't allow for that. No." It was like this old white lady. My parents thought she was racist.
Yeah, probably.
Her name is. I'm gonna name. You know what? Sorry, Miss Anderson. I'm gonna name you and drop you here. I thought you were pretty good. I thought Miss Anderson was cool.
The fun thing is to just like go find these people now on social media.
Oh, no, because I remember. She's definitely not
and just
still teaching.
No, all you have to do is find like the person on some social media and see what opinions they might have, because now everybody's real upfront about it. I mean, you can usually find a post real quick about either like the Kung Flu or terrorist BLM or.
She's probably not even alive. I ain't gonna cap.
Yeah, but your grandma made it to 104. That's.
She was a racist.
It's so
racist
weird. I can't. No. Remember, we already had this conversation on stream, and black people can't be racist.
True, they can't. So wait, does that mean I can say the M word on stream?
I mean, go for it. Like, if I get banned, I'll just get attention. Cracker. Not that I'm calling anybody one. I'm just hungry.
Just hungry. Yeah, Polly, want a cracker? Oh yeah, no. See, I'm totally gonna find it now.
What?
Can I get like legacy? I'm gonna look for like legacy yearbooks from this school.
What, Mrs. Anderson?
Miss Anderson.
She,
Oh, and there was Miss Janicus. I liked Miss Janicus. I remember that she had a really big head.
Miss Jadakiss? I'm kidding.
Janicus. No. I remember she had like a big head. She always wore these gray sweaters. I don't know, I was in second grade. I could barely. I was either so strung out on anti-ADHD medicine or so bounced off the walls off of my ADHD that I was barely even there.
Fuck. This is the problem talking to another one of you neurodivergent people like me. I have like 3 different things I wanted to respond to now. I wanted to dig in more on chain of command, but I also was like, oh yeah, let me tell you about my elementary school teacher, Mrs. Foley, who was exactly Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus, and why it's good to give kids stimulant medication who have ADHD. Because your developmental issues are worsened by the results of the ADHD, and it's keeping you from sleeping. You don't clean out your brain. Your brain doesn't grow. You progress even slower and even less than everybody else, unless you are medicated while you are growing, while you're in your formative years. So that's why it's actually good to give kids medication. And I said the entire statement about Miss Foley being Miss Frizzle, and now we can go back to Chain of Command.
I think I've heard of. You've mentioned Miss.
Because she was exactly that. She would make her own clothes and come in with these elaborate, like, frilly sundresses with, like, a bunch of, sunflowers and iguanas on them and stuff. And I don't know if the Magic School Bus predates her, or, I mean, it must. She must have taken inspiration from that. Now I gotta look this up.
See, that's why it's so easy for me. I was born in 2000. I just gotta think.
That's easy.
Yeah, 2010. I just see. If you ask me how old I was in 4th grade, good luck. I got no idea.
I mean, don't kids usually start school at like 6, 5? Is 5 kindergarten? There's probably already some sort of service you can sign up for, like access to every high school or elementary yearbook. Yeah, exactly. Which is, primarily exists to serve like perverts and pedos.
Yeah, I was gonna think like
that'll get you on a list.
Can I get a list of kids and their pictures who live within 100 miles of my area?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
But not within 100 miles of the school.
I'm just looking for me when I was young.
Yeah.
And then if the subscription also allows me to see other kids, other hot kids in my area.
Curiosity, hey, who sat where I sat, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the chain of command was it seniority? Was it just
Boy Scouts was weird. It was seniority by rank, because it went like I don't remember the ranks. You got like your Boy Scout, you get your like I think it goes tenderfoot. I know, I'm gonna look it up because I don't want to embarrass myself with my poor memory of my Boy Scouts.
One of them's called Tenderfoot?
Tenderfoot, and you got Star Scout. You got Eagle Scouts. I got to Star Scout. I was going to go for Eagle Scout, and then while I was at a Boy Scout camp, I was like, oh, I'm bi, and that was the biggest mistake I ever could have made.
They were like, well,
I'm gonna throw him in the river. And I was like, so you got Scout, Tenderfoot, Second Class, First Class, Star Scout, Life Scout, and Eagle Scout.
The Boy Scouts are very gay, though. Like, how are they going to...
The shorts were really short.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, chain of command.
The first rank is called Tenderfoot.
Our troop is pretty weird in that the rank could be subverted just sort of by like having the most senior scout talk to the scout leader, which was just one of the dads probably. But the problem was that the senior scout wasn't like the respectable young man that he should have been.
Wait, that prepares you for the real world, though.
Well, yeah.
Like,
so
do you know a privileged piece of shit who just has a connection but has no merit? You can go right to the top.
Yeah, so that was the thing. He didn't like me. And it was sort of like one of the big ways to get in his favor was to just be stronger than everybody else. And I was a late bloomer. I looked like I was 12 up until I was about 16. So if you like pushed me over and I like started crying, which of course I did because I was a little crybaby piss pants, I would fall down to the bottom of the chain, and this kid would just be like, "Oh yeah, no, Jake's at the bottom."
Yep.
So it was like, chain of command, Jake, go wash the dishes, and I'm like, I washed them the last 4 days, and then I remember I would always put a lot of dish soap in the water, and I just wouldn't rinse the dishes. And everybody would just get the runs on the last day. And you're like, oh, the last day runs. What happens? And it never affected me because I wouldn't eat off the dishes. I would just, oh, got my plate, got my burger, no touching.
Yep. I'll just take this. And, yeah, it's delicious. You're welcome, guys. Did they tell you that they were giving you tough love and making you harder by giving you these tasks?
No, they just didn't.
No, they were just like, here, go away.
Yeah, go wash the dishes. And then I figured out that the kid at the top really liked to smoke, but he was pretty young, so we couldn't afford it, so we would take any money that he could. So I would bring quarters, and I would bring him quarters, dimes, occasionally $1, and he would just boost me right up to the top of the chain.
Nice. Yeah, all right. So these are all very good life lessons.
Oh, yeah, like very actual real life lessons, but I was like 12. Kind of hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I mean, That's what the real world is. Fuck your feelings. You got to make friends with a useless guy who has his hands on the reins of power and just when in doubt, bribery.
Bribery.
Yeah.
If you can't beat up the other children, just bribe
Yes,
them.
if you can't get there by force, which was his number one qualifier, if you're not strong enough to hurt him or somebody else, then you need to give him money.
And he was like an overweight, probably like 5'11", overweight, 5'11", beard, 16.
Oh. 5'11", aspirational. Yeah, that's what the tough kid, that's what the bully always is when you're younger.
Yeah,
it's,
and like
it's
you
never
look at
like
him,
it's never like a
not
built
strong.
dude. It's just a large dude.
Large dude, and like all that fat does provide some good momentum when you're gonna like place your hands on the chest of a kid who's 5'1" and 12 and just,
Yeah, or if you're going to hit him, like it kind of.
Yeah, it's the momentum,
Yeah.
That's why like the people with the big steel ball in the Olympics, they spin it around, get the weight moving.
That's why that large boy was a bully.
Yeah.
We've done it. We've connected everything.
Yeah, Chanikin, man, I hated Chanikin. I remember my dad was really disappointed when I didn't want to be a Boy Scout, and I was like, it's mid. It's Boy Scouts is mid.
Sorry, Dad. Boy Scouts is mid.
That was we had like a talk, and he was like trying to convince me to do it, and then he tried to pull the, well, you're just gonna do it anyway because I'm your dad. I was like, well, then I just won't try.
Yeah.
And he was like,
They're like, oh yeah, oh no, that's okay. Yeah, you can pull that, but I will reflect poorly on you. Is that what you want?
I will be the oldest tenderfoot there is. I'll be an 18-year-old with like the lowest rank.
Yeah. Whenever I introduce myself, I'll say son of and your name.
Yeah.
And then?
And I'll say my rank, and I'll say all of the merit badges that I have.
Yeah. And then I'll do some real embarrassing shit. So, yeah, you want to make me go? Just psychological warfare coming out of a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Was your dad?
It worked. Because then he left. Didn't want to have anything to do. It actually worked a little too well. You're gonna embarrass me? All right. See ya.
He's like, okay, this kid's too much of a challenge. I lose. It's all yours. Was he?
I liked about my dad. He was a smart cookie. He is very, very smart.
Yeah.
I remember when I went down to stay with him for North Carolina, when I was at North Carolina, we would like sit down. He would get his like beer, I would get like my sody pop, and we would just debate like all day about all the issues, like literally for like 5 hours, just sitting there going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
And he was always like, "Oh, you're the first man to give me a run for my money intellectually." Ugh.
Yeah, I've I would do that with my parents too, but my parents have very different styles. My dad, both of them they don't really listen to what you're saying. They just assume they're smarter or know better. And my dad keeps blaming it on like me being angry at him or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, number one, that's a lucky guess, but number two, like that's not affecting me being correct about these things.
Yeah.
One of the best. What was one of the best? That type of compliment, like you're one of the few people that's ever given me a run for my money intellectually. Somebody was just like, man, I've almost never had a conversation where I was able to really like take the governors off and go full speed. And I was like,
that's full speed. And all two gears in use there. Woo!
Man, I had the
Yeah, but it's
pedal
always
to the
sad
middle
people
just
say-
then.
If they said like, "Oh, this is the first time I've been able to take the governors off and really go full speed," and it's like not intense at all, that just means that nobody's ever listened to them ever.
Yeah, yes, or that like, I think what happens to a lot of like, the semi-gifted kids in school or whatever that end up as kind of weirdo loners or non-confrontational people. I think they think they're smarter than everybody else because like they'll win arguments in the shower later that they didn't have in person.
I always say this is my favorite line. If you put me in an argument against myself, I'll always win. If you argue against yourself,
Yeah.
that's why there's these videos on TikTok where people they'll make fake debates against like themselves, and they'll show an argument that they have with a commenter. And literally, if you could have me convince you that the sky is green if I'm arguing against myself.
Yeah.
If you watch me argue against myself, you can't lose.
Yeah, like the guy we watched last time we did this.
Exactly. Yeah. Like him, it's just like
He's
all
just
of
like,
those videos.
oh, he's got him on the ropes. I wonder what he's
got him on
gonna
the
do
ropes.
next.
Yeah. Literally.
So I
And
think
like
that-
these videos, like, oh, that's a good point. It's like, of course, that's a good point. He's arguing against himself.
You got me
You
there.
can't lose.
You got me there is nothing has never been said between a couple of debate bros.
Literally.
But yeah, I think that's what happens to a lot of people that like they're conflict averse or whatever, so they convince themselves that they would have won any debate or like whatever with people, but they just didn't engage. Or if people find them uninteresting, it's because they're not smart enough to get what I was saying. It's like, no,
Yeah,
bro, you were monologuing and info dumping like it was annoying.
It's what is it called? It's ego. Forgot the word ego. It's like people say like, oh yeah, I could beat him in a fight having never fought before.
Yep. Oh yeah.
It's always so funny. Like one of my friends was like, oh yeah, I could probably beat up. I say I could take like the average person in a fight, like bros like 5'9", 120. It's like, have you ever fought before? No. Have you ever taken any formal combat training? No. It's just like you just think you got it.
I guarantee if you
it.
engage that guy in like you push him until he admits like what his strategy is, he will start referencing movies.
Yeah.
Be like, well, I would kind of like do that. Have you ever seen
Have you ever seen like, oh, there it is.
well, Fight Club or The Matrix? Or like, it's always going to be one of those. Never like,
Oh, this guy Sherlock Holmes threw a rag at a guy's face and clapped his ears. I'll do that.
yeah, all I have to do is slow down time so I can do a lot of calculations. And it's like, have you ever been in a fight or like had an accident? Everything happens and you remember it. Like, it happens instantly.
I always like that when I fall on my longboard. Because I'll be like, well, I'll fall on my longboard and it's like maybe 2 seconds. Like it's a quarter second to the ground and then 2 seconds to full stop. It's like 3 whole minutes.
Oh yeah,
my brain, it just like
your brain
it takes
like,
off the blinders and it's just like everything goes so slow but so fast.
Yeah, I remember I was listening to a podcast where they talked about Greg Louganis when he was diving at the Olympics. I don't know if you know the story, it's old.
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Greg Louganis? Isn't he the guy who I can't even make the joke, sorry.
No.
Greg Louganis, he's like crippled, right?
Oh, no. You're thinking of Superman, probably. One of the
Probably.
early Supermans is crippled. And I feel like I've just said something wrong by saying, is that not an okay word? Moving on. I wash myself, so obviously I'm a racist. Greg Louganis was an Olympic diver back in... Jesus, a long time ago, where it wasn't during like the Reagan AIDS crisis, and he was gay and was HIV positive. He was doing the dive for the Olympic competition in Seoul or some country where like if they found out that you had AIDS, you would be like jailed or escorted out of the country. So he was keeping that quiet. Him and like his coach or trainer were the only people that knew. And on one of his dives, he hit his head on the diving board and then bled in the pool. And that's why it became a big issue. When he describes...
Wait, did he have AIDS or was he just gay?
No, he had AIDS or was HIV positive. Anyway, the whole point of this is he describes the experience of that as like he goes into his dive and then he hears this weird like thud and ringing, and then he's in the water and then he like feels like a weird like numbness and it's hard for him to hear. Like, that's his experience of slamming his head into the diving board so bad that blood went everywhere. Like, that's this. Wow, that was a tangent from the guys who think that they're going to outthink a fight, when usually it's just like two people wildly like flap their arms at each other, and it's over in seconds.
I think fighting's gonna be no. Fighting, like, I got to brown in my belt, took 5 years of formal training when I was like pretty young, and then I did like sword fighting stuff, which they say translates pretty well. So I've got like a 2 out of 10 in like the formal fighting thing. So
the experience, yeah.
You literally are only going to haymaker. That's it. That's all you need to do when you fight. It's just haymakers. You want to put the guy out in one swing, because you're not going 10 rounds with Conor McGregor. You're going to go like 2 swings, and then you're going to get so tired that you can't stand anymore.
Yeah, it's close the distance and like surprise, and then do something that incapacitates.
Over the head, like into their ear. That's all you're gonna be. That's not even like all like you should do. That's all you're going to be able to remember how to do.
Yeah, the amount of the decades. Christ, I'm gonna just. I didn't say decades. The time I've spent in bars seeing the fights that happen at the end of the night, when the guy who thought he was making a connection with the girl he was staring at didn't end up going home with her and decided he was going to throw a punch at some other guy. Those always are like, and then that's it. They throw like, both guys, one guy will like throw one defensive thing, one guy will like flail like 3 or 4 times, and then usually somebody's either got a black eye or broken glass, or somebody's laying on the ground, and that's it. It's 5 seconds at the most.
It's the same thing with sword fights and like dog fights, and movies perpetuate this all the time. The average like sword fight lasts 12 seconds. It's one move, one guy's bleeding, and the other guy is probably also bleeding. And like same thing with dog fights. One guy gets behind one guy, the other guy doesn't even know he's there. He shoots him, and both guys are dead. And then the same thing with a fight. One guy comes up, throws one punch, the other guy doesn't block it, and they miss it.
Military planes. They were talking about actual dog fights. I was like, go on, Michael Vick.
Same thing with dog fights. Yeah, fucking one dog bites the other dog, dead. That's it. We'll fight over.
I feel like the dogs would actually fight.